Good morning, everyone. So, for this week's lesson, we will be discussing human behavior and victimology as our course. And we will be discussing other related factors of human behavior. So, one of the related factors in human behavior is motivation, which refers to the influences that govern the initiation, direction, intensity, and persistence of behavior. Okay, class, motivation is an influence, okay, meaning it affects our behavior. How does it affect? Okay, it may be to initiate, mga bakit initiate to start a certain action, direct, okay, di mo padulong ang imo action, intensity, how you are going to do it, how strongly committed you are into it, okay, ano mo gid ka gustong inaabutang himuon, and persistence of an action. Will you continue? Mga bakit a persistence, padayunon mo ni bala? Okay? So, that is how motivation influences or affects our action. For example, class, you are very much motivated to finish or your studies or to graduate. Okay? So, that motivation to finish your studies will be your guide to initiate to study well. Okay? Amo na magapush sa imo nga mag-start nga magtuon kamayo. Now, it will lead your direction that whenever you need to decide malagaw ko kung ma-study, you will be directed always to the one that tells us that you need to study. Okay? You will be directed to that because that is your motivation makatapos sa pag-eskwela. And if you really badly want, gusto-gusto mo ganyan makatapos sa imo pag-eskwela, then it will be reflected as well in your action with the intensity. Gapulaw ka, sang tuon nga tuon. So, that is how motivation affects our actions and the persistence and the initiation and direction of our actions. So, class, we need to choose the right motivation, right? If your motivation are the right things, you will be directed into the right direction and you will be pursuing the right things. Now, another definition is the term itself comes from Latin word meaning to move, that implies that something is causing someone to move towards the accomplishment of a goal. So it is motivation. It came from the Latin term meaning to move, meaning it is something that leads us into the direction of doing something. Motivation to work can be described as dynamic forces within an individual which account for the intensity, direction, relative persistence of effort spent at work. Okay, so there are people that are very motivated with their work naman, and that can be seen with their behavior. If they're very motivated sa work nila, ga overtime, ga obra sang tadlong sang ila obra, wala ga pabaya, wala ga tinamad. Okay, so again, as a student, I do hope you will choose the right motivation as well. Okay, so it is very ideal if you use your family, your dreams, your goal to graduate, to become a police officer someday as a motivation in your circumstances now. Okay? That no matter how hard the flexible learning and everything, still you continue because you're very motivated to finish your studies. So, motivation and the other processes. The study of motivation and motivation process can be traced back ages back, including attempts to describe, explain, predict goal-oriented behavior in the early century. So, class, motivation can also be used in tracing back or in identifying what would be the behavior or action of a certain person. That's why if you ask a person, for example, what are your motivations in life? So that person will answer, I want to be rich. You can see in the actions of that person that with everything that he do, he is pushed into the goal of being rich. Ang iyang mga actions, it all comes back to his motivation na gusto niya manggaranon. The ongoing interest in the recent times is based on the assumption that those in authority need to know what turns people on and off about their given task or work. Class, it is very important that you consider the motivation of other people, especially if they're under you. For example, you are a leader, okay, in your class. You can see that mostly, sa imo nga mga classmates, sa imo nga mga upod sa organization, wala ga obra. Now, what do you think will make them do the work? Or, what do you think, class, will make them do the work, or what will push them into doing such? So we call that, class, motivation. Okay? We call that motivation. And you need to seek or see what their motivation are in order for you to push them to do something. For example, okay, everyone who will participate and help in this activity will have a plus points kay i-report ko ni kay Miss, and they will not be given, or they will not be given a task nga mag-perform pa sang ilang physical fitness activity. Okay? Okay na, counted na dire. So that will be a motivation. Makasalbar ko sa physical fitness kay mabulig ko dire. Okay? Or the teacher. Another example, class, is for workers in a certain organization. How will you encourage the people under you or your workers to do their job, diba? By paying them their salary on time. Okay? Nga wala mo sila ipit sa mga benepisyo, ginahatag mo ang tanan nga dapat sa ila. So with that, people will be motivated. Money can be a very great motivation if used wisely, of course. So there are a variety of means and method that we can motivate people to do something or make people do something if we understand and know their motivation. Now, class, let us discuss other factors that influences behavior. We have also needs, okay? Need is something that exists within people that moves them to engage in work-related behavior in order to accomplish personal goal. So needs is within us, okay? It is something that is something that is inside of us, that we feel that enables us or pushes us to do something in order to provide for that needs. Okay? Here are, class, some examples of our basic needs like clothing, water, shelter, food. Okay? So these are all things that we need. Like, for example, class, you need food. Okay? What you will feel is hunger. And ang inaang kagutom, it will lead you into going sa kusina para magkuha pagkaon para ma-providean ang imo nga kinahanglanon. So there we can see how needs can push people to do something. Another one, class, is drive. Drive is dynamic inner forces created and energized by human needs. I have discuss kagina how drive, class, how when you are hungry or when you need food, gaka-feel ka sang kagutom or hunger. That hunger nga ma-feel mo, that is an inner force. And that is what we call drive. Okay? Hunger is a drive. And your thirst, you want water, nauhaw ka, is also a drive. So these are, class, an example of drives or inner forces that pushes us to do something or to satisfy our needs. So meaning, class, there is a connection between need and drive. Okay? When you need food, you will feel drive, and that drive is hunger. That hunger will lead you into going to the kitchen and magkaon para ma-providean ang imo nga need. Okay? So meaning, it is our drives that let us know kung ano ang aton nga kinahanglanon. So here is, class, an example. Okay? Another definition of needs. Needs is a biological requirement, something that we need for our well-being, for us to feel good. Okay? And if this need is not address, it will create drive, which is a psychological arousal. It is what will tell us that we need this certain thing. Kung kulang ka sa pagkaon, ang kagutom is your drive that will tell you that you need food. Kung kulang ka sa tubig, ang kauhaw, ang thirst, that will be your drive that will tell you that you need to drink water. So because ang kagutom, because ang kauhaw, you will do something in order to satisfy that certain needs. Okay? Now, this is an example of a drive reduction theory for you to better understand the relationship between need and drive. So, unbalanced equilibrium. With your unbalanced equilibrium, you will feel, for example, the need for water. And that need for water is established, or you will feel it through a drive which we call thirst, kauhaw. And because of that kauhaw, you will do a drive-reducing behavior. Like drinking water. Okay? What will you do para mabulongin mo kauhaw? Mainom sang tubig. And with that, the balance will be restored. So this is class, or the drive reduction theory tells us how need and drives are related. Next, we have motives. Motives are inner impulses, drives, or needs and abstract values that energize, activate, move, and direct behavior that is designed to achieve a specific goal. Okay? So, motives, class, these are our inner impulses, our inner drives. Okay? What pushes you, or what is your purpose for doing that certain thing? Kumbaga, our motives is our purpose for doing that certain thing. And that purpose, class, can came from our inner impulse, our inner drives, our needs, our values, and our energy. Okay? For example, what is the motive of that man for killing that woman, which is his girlfriend? So, class, it could be jealousy. Okay? Jealousy is an inner impulse. Okay? It is a drive that have directed the person to kill that woman because ang iya nga miga, ang ina nga babae, nagapang lalaki. Okay? So, motive, class, it is something within us that pushes us to do something. Motive can stem from our need or from our drive. So, hindi ma-confuse. Okay? Mas magamba ka mo, timi si drive, ga-push man sa aton nga magbutang, maghimo sa isa ka butang, drive is a motive. Okay? Need is a motive. Kumbaga, general siya nga name for those. Okay? For example, your motive is to finish school. So what you do is you study well. Okay? Next, objects, conditions, or activities towards which a particular motive is directed. What are goals naman niya, class? Goals, these are object or condition wherein your motive is directed. Okay? Usually, other people make a checklist for their goal. For example, I wanted to finish my studies. Okay? So if you want to finish your studies, you will have to jot down, or you will have to write down your goals. So if I want to finish my studies, I need to pass the midterm exam. I need to pass the final exam. Okay? Goal number 1, finish the midterm exam, check. Okay? Or do my activities. Okay? Or answer my quizzes. Answer my quizzes, check. Do my activities, check. Okay? Finish the midterm exam, check. Finish the final exam, check. Okay? Fourth year college or third year college, check. Tapos na. Fourth year college, check na. Okay, graduate. I was able to attain my goal. Okay? So these are object and condition and activities that directs us to our motive. Okay? For example, class, as for me, my motive for today is to be able to make a video of my lessons to my students so that ma-upload ko na sa YouTube. So how am I going to do about it? Okay? So first is make the presentation, check, record the video, that's what I am doing now, and later on upload it on YouTube. So at the end of the day, I have those 3 motives, I have those 3 goals which directs me to my motive of being able to upload my video for my students to see it. Okay? So class, motive That is our specific goal, what we want to achieve in the end. Okay? While goal naman niya, these are conditions, activities that we do for us to achieve our motive. Now we have the last is performance. Performance is the purposeful activity that results from individual goal-oriented behavior and normally evaluated in terms of specific outcomes. Okay, so we were discussing kagina how I have my goals of being able to upload a video for you to see it. How I have my motive of being able to upload a video for you to see it. And what are my goals for me to achieve it. Now class, all of those goals, hindi man na siya mahimo kung hindi ko mag-ubra, right? So when I do it now, when I make the presentation, nag-ubra na ko di, when I am recording, this is class the performance. I'm going to upload later sa YouTube. The uploading class is the performance. So performance class meaning is activity. It is action that results into our goal-oriented behavior and normally evaluated in terms of specific outcomes. So we can see if you are able to perform well, tanawon na tong outcomes. Ano ang resulta sang imo nga performance. So I hope that is clear to you, okay? So class, we have here an example through our pictures. You wanted to finish your studies. So if you wanted to finish your studies, that is your motive, you need to set goals which leads you into finishing your studies. Study well, have time management, pass my activity on time, pass my assignment, do my quizzes, pass the midterm exam, pass the final exam, proceed to the third year. Okay, then proceed to fourth year. So goal number 1, check. Goal number 2, check. Now, with all of those goals, how were you able to accomplish it? By doing something. And that is where the performance part is. Okay? That is why we call it performance. Okay. So class, that is motive, goals, and performance. So we have our motives. Our goals are everything that is directed to our motives, and in order for us to achieve it, we need to perform performance. Next, we have tension. What is tension? Now, there are cases naman niya class nga not all the time makuha ato yung kinanglanon or ato nga gusto, right? Like for a long time, like for example, alas 12 na wala ka pa kakaon, alas 2 na wala ka pa Japan kakaon. So, gutom-gutom ka na and your needs are unfulfilled. What will you feel? Diba? You will feel frustrated, discomfort, kasalakit na tiyan mo. Okay? Or, let's place it on a different naman nga light. Okay? For example, you have really this dream. Gusto mo gid nga, for example, mangin police. Now, ang ending, nag-apply ka, wala ka nakasulod sa first mo nga apply. Okay? So, you have an unfulfilled nga desire. So what will happen, class, if that is the case? You will cry, right? Let's imagine this girl looking at the result of the board exam, wala siya kapasar, crying, okay? Or you will feel anger. So tension is something that results into unfulfilled needs or kung hindi na makuha ang aton gusto or ginahandom. And how do we establish it usually? For normal nga mga tao, common, crying, being angry, being depressed. Okay? Now, we have naman like the opposite of tension or this could lessen tension. Okay? Incentive. Incentive can either be internal or external. Magambal kita internal within ourselves, okay? We have this within sa aton and we can formulate this within sa aton. Magamba kita external, it is from outside environment, from other people, okay? Now, we have here, for example, internal and external incentives such as anticipated satisfaction, positive or negative. Magamba kita anticipated satisfaction, nakuha mo ang gusto mo, okay? Can either be positive or negative, whether. And then next, we have social reinforcement. The one that you get from other people. Like for example, a hug, a kiss, mga social reinforcement na. A tap at the back, okay lang na. Mga social reinforcement na if you feel something bad. For example, or if you see someone mag-smile, very good. Social reinforcement na, okay? Financial rewards, okay? Tagaan ka kwarta. Sino man balay, di magnayo. Matsyag tagaan kwarta, okay? Provide the input for goal-oriented behavior designed to reduce tension caused by unfulfilled human needs. Okay? So class, for example, you are not able to be promoted. Gusto mo gin ma-promote. So wala ka na promote. But so you are very sad, you are very depressed. But your boss tells you nga, okay, since isa lang ang pwede ma-promote, ang iba hindi ma-promote, I will just give a cash reward for those nga hindi ma-promote. Next time na lang kamo. But tagaan ta kamo cash reward, di ba? Somehow you are sad, but there is an incentive. So medyo na pamagaan ang imo nga pamatsyagan. Okay? To reduce tension. Okay? Or, for example, you have received the news, a very sad news, and gusto mo na mag-ibig, gusto mo mag-breakdown, then here comes this person which is very close to you, hugging you, okay, assuring you everything will be fine. It reduces tension. Okay? So that is incentive class. Okay? So, with all of the tensions nga gina-experience ta in our life, I do hope that we will be an incentive to other people. Okay? We will show incentive. We will be that incentive to other people. Because I know life can be hard sometimes. Most of the time, but life can be hard. Okay? With everything ginaubrata, there are really a lot of challenges, especially if you wanted to pursue a certain dream, especially kung gatinguha ka, there could be a lot of tensions as a result of frustration. But with that nga gina-experience natin, I do hope you find someone that will, or a certain thing that will give you an incentive, or you can be an incentive to other people. Okay? So, di ba, nasulod na pa ang mga words of wisdom. Okay, next, we have motivation, the one that we are discussing. Motivation is a psychosocial process which produces an attitude that results to an action leading to particular result. Okay? So, motivation class is something that happens to us psychologically and socially. Okay? And it results into a certain attitude. That attitude could be, I'm gonna do this, okay? That attitude is, I'm going to finish this. And because you wanna do this, you wanna finish a certain thing, it leads into action. You actually do it for you to have the result. That is motivation. Okay? It is something that you feel within you. It develops an attitude of doing a certain thing, and then it leads you into a particular result by doing it. Motivation. Now we have two kinds of motivation. Internal and external. Internal are those that comes from within a person. It can be feeling, desires, values that activates certain conscious or unconscious behavior designed to produce satisfaction. For example, class. Okay? Meaning class of internal motivation, it comes from your heart. Okay? It comes from your mind. It comes from within you. Okay? For example, you really wanna do it. Okay? You have nakita ka sa isa ka bata nga pigado gabaligya dira sang basahan bala sang rugs, okay? So gahambal nga, ma'am, tanibaklan mo ko, ma'am, kay ako ni ma'am nga ng pang bload para sa online class ko. So class, naluoy ka sa bata. And what you did is you bought something. So because ang kaluoy mo, ang pity, it is within us. It is a feeling. And it motivated you to do something. Internal motivation. Or, you are taught by your parent to help people in need. So since you are taught by your parent to help people in need, you have that values within you. You help other people. That is internal motivation. Within you, naghalin sa imo tungod sa nabatsyagan mo. Okay? Or nagutom ka, nagkadto ka sa kusina, nagkaon, internal motivation. Drive. Okay? Next, we have external motivation. External motivation involves the application of incentives to encourage patterns of behavior that will contribute to accomplishment of tasks. Now, application of incentives. So that incentive here is from outside. Okay? External. It can be money, gitagaan ka kwarta, ali kwarta, ng bayranta ka pero imo ako nga paghimuan sa assignment. Okay? The motivation is money. External motivation. For example, getting a good grades, 'di ba? Matuon ka mayo ya para ya ng 1.0 kuya kay Miss external motivation, 1.0 akong score. Getting an approval from other people, 'di ba? Ay himuon ko ni Mayo kay para or mapagwapa ko Mayo para bala ni crush nga cute ko para pusuan niya akong post, okay? External motivation na. Next, or may regalo nga gadget. Okay, you study well. Okay? Denise, you study well because mommy will give you a new iPhone Pro Max. Okay? So, that is an external motivation. So, you do something because of the influence or from the outside environment. So, class, we can see here two people or two kids playing. The one is motivated by extrinsic motivation. I really want to that trophy. I want the number one. I want to be number one. Intrinsic motivation niya, I am playing because I'm happy. This makes me happy. Wala ko ilabot sa reward. I'm happy about it. Okay? So, these are two examples of extrinsic and intrinsic motivation. Okay? Class, I do believe that it's not bad naman if you're motivated by extrinsic motivation. Okay? And I think it is okay as long as you are directed, as long as that certain extrinsic motivation is not illegal, you are not hurting anyone. Okay? But there is always, class, a great satisfaction man if your motivation is intrinsic. And I think that is what most of us usually misses. That is why most of us stress permi, kapoy, or depressed because maybe we are too focused on the extrinsic motivation. And when all the while, we should be cultivating our own happiness, our own inner peace with our intrinsic motivation. So, I think it should be this way. You should be motivated by a certain thing because you are happy about it. You wanted to do this. You wanted to do it to help yourself, or you wanted to do it to help others. Okay? Your heart, you should be doing something because your heart tells you to do it, or you are happy with it. And then, by doing it, happy ka na. Now, if masuplayan ina sa extrinsic motivation, do additional na lang siya. Diba? And with or without that certain extrinsic motivation, at least you are happy. But of course, class, I understand man that life can put us into different situation. There are people that even if they're not happy with what they're doing, they need to do it because they are motivated alone by extrinsic motivation and they only see it as an option. So, I pray and I do hope that you will find yourself in a situation wherein you are motivated by an intrinsic motivation because it's much more healthier and you'll really find genuine happiness with it. I do hope with that. Now, let us discuss motivation as a force behind human behavior. Do you believe as well in that? That with our motivation, we are that motivation is something that really influences our behavior. What are your motivations in life? What do you want to achieve in the end? Okay? Are you making actions into it? Okay. In a glance, leading others as they pursue an organization's mission, goals, and objectives is the essence of police management. Okay? So we are now talking about police management. We're applying motivation and behavior into police management. And class, we can see here that in leadership, motivation is really essential. Why? Because if you are a leader, it is really important that you know how to motivate your members. You know how to make them do things in accordance to your goal as a group. So, as a leader, you must be aware of what motivates your member to do something in order for you to achieve the goal that you wanted. Okay? So that is motivation as a force in human behavior. Like for example, class, it is stated here that highly motivated police officers and even private individuals working smarter are more productive and produce better quality products or services. So if your people are motivated, that means you are providing them what they need, what they want. And if they are motivated, that means, class, that in everything that they do, they are going to do their best. Okay? Because they are being taken care of. Okay? Sinabi nga tao nga, ginahalungan ka, ginaprovide tanan mo nga need, makuya ka man siguro nga hindi o paghimuon ng ila nga, kinasugo or ang dapat mo himuon. Right? So, motivation is a very powerful force. Okay? So, if you will become leader someday, if you will become police officer someday on your own, I hope, class, that even on your own, you find the right motivation for you to do your work well. And if you're given the opportunity to become a leader, use it as a platform to motivate your members in the right way. Okay? Many police administrators subscribe to the saying that overall productivity is achieved through excellence, and excellence is achieved by having an organization of highly motivated police officers. So, I think that is true not only to police organization, but also even to you. Diba? I do hope that despite of our situation, subong we are motivating you to do your best, okay? And I think one way of doing that is by allowing you to see that us also as teachers are doing our best. Diba? We are all going beyond sa makubrata. We are all making a lot of effort. We are doing more than what we should do for this to be successful. And I do hope that you would do the same as well by the examples that we set. Okay? So that is, class, as motivation as force behind human behavior. And I do believe that this power of being able to motivate other people will be always used para sa ikaayo. Okay? Kaya there are people that are abusing this. They know the motivation of that person. Kinanglanan mo gali kwarta. Ari kwarta pa, chato siya mo sini. That's very bad motivation. Let us use motivation on a right ways and means. Okay? So class, with that as well, balik ta diya, if you are dealing with a hostage taker, negotiator, if you know the motivations of that hostage taker, you would know how to deal with him. You would know how to provide ang mga gusto niya but not totally giving it in order nga ma-safety ang mga hostages. Okay? Next, we have Abraham Maslow hierarchy of needs. According to Abraham Maslow, the creator of the hierarchy of human needs, activate, fuel, and shape the internal drive to overcome inertia or inactivity affiliated with status quos. So he classified these needs, class, this Abraham Maslow that had given us these needs: physiological or survival needs, safety or security needs, belongingness or social needs, self-esteem or ego needs, and self-actualization or fulfillment needs. So sa class, self-actualization and fulfillment, isa na sila, okay? Isa na sila. Now, we have discussed kagina about needs, right? As one of the motivation in human behavior. So, class, si Abraham Maslow, he had given us a hierarchy of needs. Okay? It is like a pyramid with what is our basic needs up to the highest needs that human require. Okay? So, yun being required. So, we are going to discuss about those needs. Okay? So, our needs, class, can either be first survival needs, that is at the very bottom of the pyramid. Why? Because it is the most basic. It is what is used to sustain life. What are examples? Food, water, air, shelter, sex, and so on. So, these are example, class. Sleeping, okay? So, food, being healthy, those are all our survival needs. So, they are because the nature of life cycle, the satisfaction of physiological needs is of limited duration. Okay? It is only class with limited duration. Hindi na sila nga, pag nasatisfy mo ang food, never ka na dayon magutom. Okay? No. Okay? Magutom ka man Japon. So it somehow it reminds me of that verse from Jesus Christ wherein He tells us that the human food, kung imnon mo or kung magkaon ka, magutom ka man Japon. But if you find Jesus Christ, the life-giving water, you will never be thirsty, you will never be hungry again. And I guess it is very true. Okay? It is very true, based on my own experience. So, just some moments of preaching lang dira, class. Let us go back to our survival needs, the one which we are discussing. So, it is of limited duration. After mo mabusog, magutom ka man Japon, after a few hours. So, it is of limited duration. It needs to be addressed, okay, occasionally or by time. As soon as one need is satisfied, it is replaced by another needs. It is another thing man also with survival needs, okay? So, di pwede nga kung nabusog ka na, okay na dayon. Matuyo ka, pwede ka you need to sleep, okay? Survival needs. Tandaan lang, basic needs. Next, we have security needs. Security needs comes once basic survival needs have been met. So class, once nga na-meet mo na si basic needs, masunod si security. To some of us, class, hindi ta na siguro ma-feel ang ina nga pagpasunod. But class, here is an example. Diba there are people that lives in streets? There are people nga mabutang na sila karton, matulog na sila. Now, enough na sa ila, class, nga na-supply nila or na-provide for that day or miski wala pa or somehow na-satisfy ang basic needs nila. Nakakaon sila, makatulog sila, okay na sila. But class, if you have the capacity, may kwarta ka, may kasarang ka, enough na bala sa imo? No. Ma-follow dayon si security needs. You need to be secured. That's why dapat may balay ka, may tulugan ka, may pulian ka, nga masirado mo that you are safe from outside nga mga factors or any danger or any harms. Okay? So, and class, security needs does not limit sa balay, may laki mo balay. No, wala na limit. That is an example, but very basic na nga security needs. Another security that a person requires, or yes, for well-being, is job. Diba? You need a job that pays you for your need to be secured sa imo nga future. Okay? Your health and a safety environment is also class a part of security needs. So imagine someone nga wala sang obra. Okay, di ba? You are doubtful, ginakulbaan ka sa imo nga future. That's why having a job, class, is security in terms financially or economically. Okay? Another form na of security. So do not limit your idea when we say of security nga sa physical lang, nga may lucky mo balay, that does not end dira. Okay? Having a job, having a safe environment, that is security. Okay? Next, if a person does not feel safe in an environment, they will always seek a way in order for that to be fulfilled. Okay? So, security is the second in the hierarchy of needs. After security, class, so these are example, we have there the key, okay, may padlock dira. Savings class is being secured of the future, okay. That's why sometimes we set our alarm clock to be secure that we are going to wake up on that certain time. Makinan nato mag-wake up. Having a family or having a house is being secured of the future or being secured of your physical self. Next, we have social needs. So once the two na to, okay, security and survival or physiological needs are fulfilled, masunod na dayon is physiological needs or our social needs. Okay? So again, let us put it in this perspective. Diba? There are people that they have the basic needs can be provided sa ila. They can eat 3 times a day or more, and they have a house, ginapulian nila, they have a job, but that is not enough, diba? There are people still goes out, meet up with other people, and hang out with other people, enjoy the company sa ibang nga tao, because that is the third on the hierarchy of needs. That is what we refer social needs. Once physiological and security needs have been satisfied, masunod na dayon klase social needs. Okay? And it is also an important source of motivation. So if you are surrounded with people that are very much engaged into education, nga magtuon mayo, di ba, you will be influenced by them as well. Okay? If you're surrounded with people nga very successful, di ba, you will be pushed man also nga maging successful. So that is why it is an important man nga motivation, or having someone to use as an inspiration for you to do your best sa mga ginaobra mo. That's part of the social needs. So, class, we have here, for example, we can see their hands ka naga-shake as a means of understanding, di ba? Maybe they're friends, or having a family, love, okay, finding approval from other people that you belong to their group or you belong with that person. That's part of the social needs. Okay? Next, we have ego needs. Okay? Ego needs, so we are done discussing with the three: basic or survival needs or physiological needs. Then we have the second, security needs, and we have the third, the need for love, or what we call, or the need of belongingness, or what we call as the social needs. Okay? Next, we have ego needs. The ego-esteemed need has two dimensions or measures. First, people have need to be respected by significant others. So class, it does not end lang gali nga if you already belong in this group, if you already have this someone, may bana ka na, may pamilya ka na, okay na ko, okay na ako needs for the rest of my life. No, may kasunod pa class, ego needs. Okay, so balik na to sa first nga example kagina amat-amata. First, people need food, water, diba? Once that need is provided, if you have the capability, you will build your house for you to be secured. You will find a job for your future to be secured. Now, wala lang taga-end, diba? After mo na ma-provide tanan, you need to find a partner para you have someone that you can build your family. You have someone that you belong. Ma-provide ang social needs nimo nga may kapalangga sa imo kung may ginapalangga ka man. Right? Now, if you have already nagpakasal na ka muna, nag-upod na ka muna, it does not end there. May sunod pa class, may ego need pa. Okay? You need to be respected by that person. Because sometimes, class, that's why sometimes, diba, there are some certain problems nga sa dugay bisang ila marriage. Yes, they found the belongingness, they found the social needs that they need, but later on, nagadula bi ang respect. Okay? So, dira, ma-feel naman sang tao nga, ay, may asawa ko tuod, may bana ko tuod, pero wala na respeto. I feel so small. Okay? May bana ka tuod, pero you feel nga hindi ka importante. Okay? Because that is where our ego needs nagasulod na class. Okay? The same man with your job. You already have a job. You secured na ang future mo. You feel like you belong with your environment. Yes, you have already have a job where you belong. But you feel nga daw wala may respeto sa imo. You feel like not all of your colleagues, ang mga under sa imo da, mga subordinates mo da, nagapati, naga-respect, naga-support sa imo. You need that now nga you will be respected by them. So class, with that, makitaan ta class sa ina nga hierarchy nga ang needs kay isang tao nagataas nga nagataas, and our life is like a cycle of fulfilling ang ini nga mga needs. Okay? So I do hope you were able to look at it that way na nga daw cycle siya. After gali mismo fulfill ini, ay may amo pagid ni gali, ay may amo pagid ni gali. Okay? And now, it slowly comes into our understanding, do maintindihan ta na nga, ay, that's why gali, certain people ka-arrive into making bad decisions or doing certain thing or behaving or acting nga lain because sometimes their needs are not fulfilled. Okay? Or sometimes they seek the fulfillment of these needs. Okay? So, To continue, first, people have the need to be respected by significant others for who they are and what they can contribute of capable of doing to the group he or she belongs. They have the desire to be competent and look for to the work group as a source of recognition, acceptance, and prestige. So one example, class, that is established by this ego needs in a materialistic nga way is promotion. Diba? It is not enough na may job ka lang to where you belong, you are a part of, but you do your best because you wanted to excel pa. You wanted to be promoted. Ego needs na siya. Okay? The same one with you as a student. Diba? Yes, you are enrolled na already. You belong na with a certain group, but that is not enough. Okay? You wanted to excel. You wanted nga makatapos ang ining a year to continue naman the next year. So that is part of our ego needs. Okay? So we have here an example. Okay? So being respected by other people, graduating, having or receiving an awards, part na class ng aton nga mga ego needs. So, it does not, wala man nagambal si Abraham Maslow, basi magambal ka mo nga, Miss, kuya, Miss, okay naman, kuya, Miss, nga wala, kuya, awards yaw, okay naman, kuya, basta makagraduate lang, kuya. Ang gusto mo nga makagraduate, ego needs mo na. Miss, kuya, hindi ko man gusto mag first honor, pero gusto ko lang, may medal lang ko, ego needs mo na. Our needs, class, can come in different intensity. Okay? That is the same in class sa mga na-discuss na previously with the basic or physiological needs or survival needs, security needs, and social needs. May lain-lain man na class nga intensity for each person. Diba? Because maybe some of you, Timis, hindi ko man yan need yung partner ya. Kaya gusto ko lang yung may friends lang kuya. Social needs na. Okay? So, it does not mean nga magkamba kita social needs. Dapat may pamilya kagid, may bana kagid, may nobyo kagid. Okay? No. Social needs can come from different forms depending upon your motivations as a person. Okay? The same with ego needs. That does not mean na gusto mo gid maging first honor, magka-medal. See mo maybe being able to graduate is enough na. Ego needs na sa. Okay? Ma-proud lang si nanay mo, magabas nanay mo, I'm so proud of you. Ego needs na. Okay? So, it does not necessarily mean, again, nga magamba kita ego need is being the top gid, having awards, having medals gid. So, each person can have the different intensity or gravity sa mga needs nila. Okay? Next, the last is self-actualization. The need for self-actualization is triggered when people achieve a measure of satisfaction for their physiological, security, social, and ego needs. So, class is self-actualization. Gali ang pinaka-last. And matrigger lang ni siya kung na-achieve mo na to ang apat. Okay na? Si survival, na-fulfill na. Si security, fulfilled naman. May balay ka na. May ubra ka na nga permanent. Social, you have your group of friends, you have your family, you have your loved ones. Okay? Ego needs, continuous ang imong nga promotion, you are being complimented for doing a job well done. Now, ano pang kulang? Hambal ni Abraham Maslow, we have the last, self-actualization needs. Is the need to grow, to be creative, and to fulfill one's potential. So, magitawagan ikla self-actualization kay it is more on ourself. Okay? Makita na to the rest of the needs daw, it is motivated by outside nga mga factors, right? But when we say self-actualization, it is more on your own. What you wanted to be, your fullest potential. While self-actualization differ from one person to another, it causes people to pursue interest and knowledge of their own life. Okay? That's it. That is why, class, there are people nga sometimes you wonder, ano naman to sa iya tanan, okay? I have watched this documentary nga may isa ka lalaki nga he is a successful lawyer sa New York. But king buyan niya to, he has, so, ara niya basic needs, diba? Ara na iya nga security needs, ara social needs sa lawyer, sa bala may tsura pa siya, diba? Ego needs siya, very well known siya sa New York, as in, sagad siya sa field. And gulpi lang, kimbayaan ito tanan to follow a certain group or religion. because hambalya, he was able to find that certain religion tungod may isa sa ka-friend nga lawyer man pagbalik sa New York nakita niya hala do ka mag-aniya sang itsura yayahaw do ka wala ni saya sang stress unlike sa akon nga gibayaan niya ni gani ubraya pero nga super happy ni siya, and that friend told him nga he found this si Bagwan because I forgot ang ngalan sang ilang nga group, but the leader is Bagwan, and his teaching kuno had enlightened him nga kung ano ginang gusto ya is that is for peace, and sa iya nga self ang iya nga his potential, his desire do gusto ya digto ma-center. So this lawyer nga very successful sa New York, imbayaan naman iya nga work, nag-upod to siya, nagkato siya sa India because it is in India, si Bagwan is in India that time, and he followed it there because as and looking now sa hierarchy of needs ni Abraham Maslow, we can somehow say that maybe it is part of his self-actualization needs. That for him to discover his full potential, what he really want, his own knowledge of life, what he really want with his life to happen, what his life would be for him, kung anong gusto niya ngayon siya kabuhi, that is part of self-actualization needs. Okay? That's why, class, maybe you have watched na mga movies or mga movies nga or short stories wherein you sometimes wonder, naman ni siya tanan nga gibayaan na ni. Okay? Or okay naman ni siya sa obra, ya nga nagsaylo pa siya sa iban. Okay, na-provide naman ni. Because, class, na-provide na tanan niya nga needs. Isa na lang ang kulang. Self-actualization. For that person to find what he really wants or his fullest potential in life. So sometimes self-actualization is quite hard for us to understand because maybe ang na-fulfill pa lang sa aton, basic needs pa lang, security needs pa lang. But I do believe, class, once you have reached that point where you already have everything in life, specifically on the hierarchy of needs by Abraham Maslow, there you will understand what fulfilling self-actualization needs is all about. Okay? So for now, for your lesson, you just have to remember ang keywords naton, that it is what you need to grow, to be creative, and to fulfill your fullest potential. Okay? In order to pursue your interest, what you really want, and your own knowledge of life. This is, class, an example of self-actualization, some images that depicts self-actualization. So, it's all about finding your own self, your fullest potential. Okay? So, this is the hierarchy of needs by Abraham Maslow. You can see there a pyramid. The lowest are physiological needs or basic needs or survival needs. The next, after that, is fulfilling our safety or security needs. Next is love or belongingness or social needs. And next is esteem needs. Okay? Or, self-esteem needs. And the last is self-actualization. Okay? Now we have, before we end, the different behavioral patterns as to how people interact in terms of ego states. Okay? Class, have you ever encountered those people nga bata pa pero do tigulang na magsabat? Okay? Or there are people man nga may edad na pero do bata ang ila pang ginawi? It's because people have different ego state. There are people with parent ego state. Okay? Pag kita parent ego state, sila ni ang mga tao nga ang ilang behavior are protective, idealistic, evaluative, righteous, refer to laws or rules and standard. So kumbaga, they are those people nga very protective, and then they are the one that tells you nga amo ni dapat himuon, they are the one that guides you, ay hindi na pwede himuon. Okay? Class, let us take for example, for you to better understand this, in your social group, sa mga group of friends mo. Di ba you have those kind of friends nga daw ka, siya ang nanay-nanay sa grupo, siya naghahatag advice, siya ang protective. Ay sino nga ginamo ka niya nila, hindi niya pwede ya. Okay? So amo ni mo himuon. Okay? We can see, or if you're able to identify nga may amo na sa inyo grupo, they have a parent ego state. Okay? So again, class, I would like to be clear nga not necessarily parent ni sila, may bata ni sila. No. Depende niya sa actions ng isa ka taho. Okay? So behavior ya ang ginatanaw ta. Okay, so you in your group of friends, you may identify someone nga ay very protective, gini bala si si Ana mong siya gini permiga advice sa akon, siya gini permiga hatag sa akon nga mo dapat himuon. They are those with parent ego state. You have naman other friends, if you will notice nga ka-reasonable. Okay? They view others as co-equal. Do parehas na nilang ibang nga tao. They are factual, they are flexible, and they are more on reasoning. They have naman an adult ego state. Like all adults and teenagers, di ba? How does adult acts, diba? Usually, they are factual, they are more upon reason. So, if you have friends, nga daw kaamo sina, ang ilaya, they are more on reasoning, they are factual, they have an adult ego state. And you also have friends, nga daw ka bata-bata, very dependent, hindi ka ba magtabok ka ni sa may dalan, okay? Or you need to do things for them because hindi sila kabalo. Rebellious, okay? Gamay lang nga, hindi makuha ila gusto, masunggod dayon. Okay, selfish, self-centered. Kung ano lang ila gusto, dapat ang mugin ang inyo himuon. Okay? Demanding, impatient, emotional. Those kind naman of people have a child ego state. So class, again, it does not matter kung bata na siya, wala ni gabasi sa edad, class. It depends upon the behavior of the person. A 9-year-old can have a parent ego state, diba? Or a 40-year-old can act like a child. So, they have a child ego state. So, these are the different behavioral patterns. And napuso sa panumdumon because ang gina-explain is like the word itself, right? Like parent, protective, idealistic. Kung adult naman niya, more on reasoning, factual, flexible. Kung child naman niya, more on dependent, rebellious, selfish. Okay? So, that's all for our lesson. Lesson 3 in human behavior. So, what we have discussed are all about motivation and other factors in human behavior. So, I hope that is clear. That is all for lesson 3 in human behavior.